Folks, we're facing a problem that pre-meds are unaware about, and it can totally derail your chances of getting into medical school. I see this happening each and every day when students reach out to me and they want help for getting into medical school. One thing they tell me is they worked extremely hard as a pre-med and they have a strong GPA. They're usually not worried about that. And the MCAT is decent to competitive. So they think because of having the GPA and MCAT, it's going to be smooth sailing on getting into medical school. However, they don't realize is that just having a strong GPA and MCAT is not enough to get into medical school. And what I'm referring to is there are way too many qualified applicants than seats available in an incoming medical school class. I don't want to go too hard in numbers, but you have to imagine there are 10,000 pre med students out there applying to one medical school. And with this one medical school, they could only interview about 500 pre med students. And out of the 500, they can only accept 200 for their incoming class. So how are we going to go from 10,000 to 200 admitted medical school students? You have to ask yourself, are you better than basically, for all intents and purposes, 9,900 some odd, 9,800 other pre-med students? If you're not, you're in a world of trouble and you really need to assess what's going to make you stand out for getting into medical school, because students wonder at the end of an application cycle, I don't understand it. I don't understand why I didn't get enough medical school interviews or why I didn't get any interviews, and now I'm rejected. I thought I was going to be a doctor. Everybody told me my numbers look great. They just saw all this promise and potential for me, but now I'm on the outside looking in, watching my other classmates go to their white coat ceremony. They're posting about the first day of medical school, being in anatomy class, and I'm just sitting here wondering, what can I do? What went wrong? Everybody's asking me, are you a doctor yet? I hold my head down in shame because that's not what my reality is. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm looking into grad school options. I'm thinking maybe I should retake the MCAT to improve my score to help me get in. But you have to ask yourself, are those the things that are actually going to improve your chance of getting into medical school? What you need to realize is that somebody who is a high stat applicant, but they write a lackluster personal statement for medical school, can actually sink their chances of getting into medical school. Whereas on the other side, you can have a mediocre applicant who's just midline median when it comes to their MCAT and GPA, really doesn't stand out, but they write a stellar personal statement. They're the ones that are going to actually get into medical school because they met the bare minimum with the numbers, but then they took their writing to the next level with their personal statement and making the case for why medicine and why them in particular they deserve to be in medical school. Because you have to sell yourself to AdComs. And when I have as an AdCom, when I have a stack of applications that I need to read at the end of a long day, you know what I'm doing? You have to immediately grab my attention. You have to captivate my mind and make it to the point where at the end of reading over your personal statement, I'm thinking, wow, this is a pre-med medical school applicant that I want to meet in person. And out of the limited interview spots that we have available, I think that they deserve one of those spots. If you're not doing that in your writing, you're not going to get into medical school. It's just not going to happen because there's way too many qualified applicants out there, and you really need to figure out how are you going to stand out? How are you going to make the case? Because at the end of the day, you're selling yourself to AdComs, and unfortunately, as a pre-med student, nobody's told you how to sell yourself or how you go about that process and why it's important. But I want to show you how to make that possible so that you can sell yourself in a compelling way in your personal statement that comes across where everybody's like, yes, this person deserves to be in our medical school class. And if you're struggling with that, then I can help you do that. I offer medical school personal statement editing service where it's not like, oh, I'm going to just give you a grammar and spell check. No, that's not what you need. You need to have a storyline. You need to know the topics that you're going to write about, and you need to know how do you have, if there are any red flags in your application, how do you turn those into negatives, and how do you basically have a theme to your personal statement that immediately captures your reader's attention and draws them in, and you answer the two most important questions that you need to answer. Why medicine, and why you? Why do you deserve to be in medical school out of the 10,000 other applicants that are applying to my medical school? I will help you show you how to do that so that you can come out on the winning side of a medical school admissions decision, so that you're not rejected, that you're actually planning to make your tuition deposit, planning your move to start medical school. Your parents look so proud of you that now you're not just a pre-med, you're a medical student. And in 4 short years, you're going to graduate medical school and go on to become a practicing physician. That's what I want for you. I don't want you to struggle and think that you can figure it out on your own. No, that's not what it takes. You need an expert who's done this previously for other applicants and who can do the same for you. I want you to have expert advising, expert guidance, where you're not wondering, is this a good topic to write about? Or what about this topic over here? Or, oh, I'll just exchange my personal statement with a random stranger online and get feedback from them. No, that's not what you want. Or to think, oh, I know somebody who does admissions, but they're in business school or another type of graduate program, and they don't know what AdComs want out of your personal statement. Because we see it all the time where somebody's been led down the wrong path with their personal statement advising, where the person is well meaning and well intentioned, but they don't have the insight or experience of what AdComs, medical school admissions officers, want to see from a pre-med applicant applying to medical school. And it totally derails their chances, because when you're writing, what you're doing is saying, this is how I stand out. This is how I set myself apart from everybody who else is applying to medical school. And if you don't have it, you're not going to get in. You only have literally seconds to make that impression. And if you think that you're not a strong writer, writing isn't your suit, then you really need this help, because you work so hard as a pre-med with that GPA, studying for the MCAT, and you don't want to throw it away at the last minute thinking you can do it on your own. So I strongly encourage you to reach out to me to get personal statement editing for medical school, to set yourself apart from the competition and really realize that, yes, you can literally write your way to medical school with your personal statement and your medical school application. And on a caveat to that, you can actually write yourself out of medical school by being rejected, because AdComs realize, and you need to understand that you have 100% control over what you're going to write about for medical school. It's not like you're in class and you're kind of not sure what the professor's going to put on the test, or when it comes to the MCAT, there's all this material, topics, and concepts, and it's kind of like the luck of the draw. What's going to be the composition of your MCAT? Nope, not the case when it comes to your personal statement. You have all the time in the world, well, up until when you submit your application, to think about and consider what you're going to write about, how you're going to present yourself, what type of theme, what type of approach that you're going to have, and what type of lasting impression you want to leave with your reader. And if any of this gives you pause for concern, you're struggling, you're worried, then you need to reach out to me so that together we can write you a compelling personal statement that makes the case for your mission and acceptance to medical school, because you work too hard, and let me help you get to the next level. I'm Dr. Spears. You can find me, Jason, at drpremed.com. Reach out, because I want to see you at the next level, walking across that stage to loud applause as you get your white coat and stethoscope and admitted into the field of medicine.